I feel like I just keep encountering one problem after another with this. The first was, before I was dealing with this, check this out. Look at these ones up in the top right. They are descending downwards as they should, but these bottom ones, they seem to be going up. I'm not sure what I did there. It seems that half of the nodes are brought across from one to another. I spent a ridiculous amount of time going through each one of these cloned copies and renaming them diagonally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice that they go diagonally from bottom right to upper left. Got a few numbers in before realizing, hang on, they got to be called 00 number. The reason for it all is that once it was all said and done, to be able to select everything, and it will automatically reorder the layers in alphabetical order, right? That'll make them a lot easier to animate, which it did. However, something's gone wrong. I wanted to bring the animation to start earlier, but it seems like half of the nodes correspond to this and half of them don't. Everything looks correct visually now, but I don't have control over it. Look at this. After it's all descended, the tiles on the left, they start to move back up again, and eventually it all resets and they all come down simultaneously. If they're all coming down simultaneously, why doesn't every layer have keyframes on it? Why do half of them have keyframes over here? I somehow must have accidentally only brought half the nodes across from its cloned source or something. Who knows? I've tried copy and pasting more across, it hasn't worked. Duplicating hasn't seemed to work either. Fortunately, this is what backups are for. So I think I'm going to bite the bullet and go back to this old version down here, which, if I'm right, should just be before I shifted everything to the left, so it should all be in order. Which it is. Nice staircase going all the way down, with them all simultaneously moving at the end. It's not how the one in my video is appearing, but hopefully I can salvage this to get it running the way it should. The timing is now correct, but it does also mean it's gone back to the version where some tiles are moving down and some are moving up, so I can demonstrate what was happening there. In this first set, this is the one where all of them are meant to be moving. And it looks like on tiles 1 and 2 and 3, they do have those components, which is this top row. But down from row 4, 5, and 6, that doesn't have them. Meanwhile, on the other set, this is the one that is meant to be purely static pieces. I seem to have made completely the opposite mistake. 1, 2, and 3 has no secondary part, but 4, 5, and 6, they do. So I somehow need to get everything across from one to the other and still have the clone network be linked and communicating with it. Wish me luck. One step closer to solving this mystery at the moment, where all of them descend simultaneously. If I delete all of these keyframes across all 130 so layers, then that effect should disappear and they're just on all the time. However, when I delete it, only half of the layers are affected. The ones from 4, 5, and 6, which I have cut and pasted across, do not seem to be connected to rows 4, 5, and 6 of these clones, which is a problem because of how much time I spent renaming their numbers, but I also need to find their root source. I could probably make new clones of them, but what are these clones? What are they attached to? What did I just delete? I can't see anything that they're attached to. Further, and it's just getting to the point where I need to see this through just to understand what is happening in the back end of the program. Here is 2 clones, one taken from right here and one taken from the main grid control deck, which is this one. If I remove the keyframe of one, it does nothing. If I remove the keyframe of the other, it does something. So what should be happening here is that they are connecting to 2 different tweens. It all sort of happens in the back end with the numbers and parameters and things. So if I click on each one of these bottom ones, look here, the path name, it's, called grid1-p70 path, which is the name of the layer as well. But if I click on this one above it, notice its path is simply +002. It's seeing the path of the main control deck. which deepens the mystery, I think, because doesn't that mean they should be talking to each other? As I click back and forth between these two, look, notice the information. That path is the same. The plus symbol means it also exists elsewhere. It is being shared across two destinations. But they have the same name? And, oh, it's very puzzling. However, I think I've been overlooking a very simple solution, which I'm going to try now, and that is rather than copying and pasting these pegs from the other group, I'm going to try copying and pasting them directly from the control deck.
Alright, I've copied a row of these across, all the way across from the main control deck, and man, I can't believe I didn't think of this before. And now the moment of truth. Deleting this should make it appear.
Thank goodness, why have I spent so many hours on this?
Now that everything via the control deck is actually working correctly, there is one little nitpick I have left, and that is this guy. Where is he? Why is he doing that? Why hasn't it been behaving across every iteration? This thing hasn't been animating. So first I need to track it down. It's not that row, it's got to be this row somewhere. Yes. The one on the very end of row 5 should be this one. Will it disappear? No, it doesn't disappear. That's very interesting. So where is it? I guess if it did, then it means it would be animating, but where is it? It's the one at the start. Does that mean it animates before everyone else? It must be. That means the entire animation should be slightly off sync. And it is. Notice here, it's not a perfect row, it sort of skips back one. I thought I was seeing that. So that means take this, demote it all the way to the back, whoops, unhook it all the way to this position, and every one of these top rows is gonna have to get moved down by one position.